Zoro would have lost everything. We have been scaling.
I'm gonna secretly spy on my friend with the fake sky till he notices. So let's go ahead and fly up here and into the fake sky. This looks pretty crazy, I'm gonna lie. And I also brought a couple of things to mess with him. So let's see if he notices. Yo, what's going on, Dylan?
Yo, what's up?
You getting on the server?
Yo, hold on. Okay, I'm on.
Okay. What are you? Where you at right now?
The usual, just at my base, bro.
At your base?
Yes, sir. What do you think, bro? What brings me to the server?
I just want to talk to you, bro. You know, I just want to play Minecraft with you, bro.
Dude, I swear, I'm still hearing stuff outside my base, bro.
What?
Dude, I'm not tripping every time. Dude, I hear it. It's like a windburst this time. The shulker's still here. I guess it isn't yours. What? I hear it. What the heck? I swear I heard it on top of my base.
You heard what?
It's a windburst. Or something.
What are you talking about?
This server is driving me crazy. I'm hearing arrows now. I thought it was crazy the first time. I thought it was just, oh, let's go to Johnny.
What are you talking about, bro?
Kill it, bro. Cut it out. I know what you're doing.
Bro, oh yeah? Find me then, bro. Where am I? I'm literally not even by your base, bro. I'm not even close to this. Listen to nothing, bro. There's nothing there.
Exactly where it is. Dude, no. I saw something. I saw a particle. Dude, there's an arrow on top of my base.
What
is that? What is this?
What are you talking about?
What just happened? My mouse is dead.
Your mouse is dead?
No, I'm trying to blow it up.
Your mouse is dead, bro? What are you talking? There's nothing even in the sky, bro. What are you talking about?
Are you controlling my screen? My mouse is dead. I'm changing my battery. Okay, bro, what is... Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? I saw it! No! I am not seeing things. Are you...
You're going crazy.
It was right there. My mouse died.
What? What are you talking about?
No. I swear to God.
I'm gonna secretly spy on my friend with a fake sky if he notices. So let's go ahead and fly up here and into the fake sky. This looks pretty crazy.
So who exactly is saying that Law's crew has zero combat power? If you think they're useless, you're completely wrong. They're not weak, they're just underrated. Oda clearly didn't want Law to disappear yet, so he quietly gave two of his crewmates massive importance. Whether Law can return later depends entirely on these two. First is Beppo, the bear who collapses after getting yelled at. Just like Chopper, he walks around with a tiny bounty, yet fights enemies worth billions. On the ship, he's incredibly versatile. But because he apologizes too much, people ignore his strength. Everyone thought Beppo was just the Heart Pirates mascot, until the moment he became their trump card. After entering Salong form, he charged straight into the battlefield and fought multiple enemies alone. Even Blackbeard's crew was knocked into hit stun. Yes, the form is short-lived, but it was enough to rescue Law right in front of Blackbeard. That alone proves Beppo has the strength of a true vice captain, and he still has room to grow. Then there's John Bart, Law's right-hand man, and the most overlooked member. No devil fruit, no hockey, yet relying purely on muscle, he blocked Van Augur's bullets. Do you realize how insane that is? Even Cracker's biscuit soldiers were shattered by those bullets. They once blocked Gear 3rd Luffy's attacks. John Bart stopped them without even tearing his clothes. That level of defense is ridiculous. Now compare that to Kid's crew. Killer was strong, but not enough. Shanks wiped them out instantly. No one was left to turn the fight around. That's why Kid's saying Law survived because he had Beppo and John Bart. The real question now is simple. Can Law climb back up from here? So who exactly is saying that Law's crew...
You are looting End Cities wrong. As you probably know, End Cities have the best loot in the entire game, and there are some crazy tricks that can help you loot them safer and faster. So let's start with the chest generation. See, not many people know that chests can only generate on the 3rd floor of the end house, so the best way to loot them is to not even go inside the buildings. Instead, grab some pearls and use them to teleport on the floors with the loot chests. But still, there is a problem called shulkers. However, there are two methods to easily counter them. First is using invisibility. Many people don't know that invisibility decreases the mob's range from which they can target you, but to be honest, being in End Cities without armor is very risky. So instead, just grab a shield and chorus fruits. You won't get levitation if you block the shulker bullet, but sometimes you just can't block them all, so in that case, just eat a chorus fruit to save
on Bedrock, you still get it. Levitation.
As you probably know, Cities have the best loot in the entire game, and there are some crazy tricks that can help you loot them safe.
You got your cake? No, those are yesterday's to me. I thought dinner was throwing me a little engagement party. Do not expect a party. I won't expect a party. Do you need me to stand up in any particular area while you set up something special? I'm not throwing you an engagement party. Okay, whatever you say.
Or you deny that there's a party before she it's actually happening. Why did she just throw her one?
That's not how I live my life. I said no engagement party.
Yeah, but she seems so excited.
I am made of heart and I said no party.
I got it. Sanford.
I know. Be sure to act nice.
This is my first party. Wow.
What do you got there, buddy?
This, I just, I forgot my lunch today.
Well, if that's your lunch, don't let me stop you from eating it. We're not leaving this table until you finish every bite of your lunch.
Sure you don't want it. Oh, no. Where's the wedding?
I just want to thank you. This is better than an effort. You got your cake?
Whoa. You know how rare this is? Rare what is? There's nothing.
No, what's it called? Yeah, exactly, bro. Look, come over here too. There's nothing in. This is a mine shack, bro. That means no one was here. There's 20,000 people, bro.
These are empty. That means people were.
I'm saying people were here, exactly, bro.
Oh, okay.
That's crazy, bro. And
How is that crazy?
player activity. Wait, on everything is player activity.
Oh, player activity, bro. They said, like, activate the trap.
No, player, no.
How big is this area? Oh. Thank you. Yo. Whoa. You know how rare this is? How rare it is? There's nothing.
No, what's it called? Yeah, exactly, bro. Look, come over here.
Are U.S. citizens, which makes this unlawful. And as a matter
My mother blamed me for my brother's death for 14 years until the phone records proved whose fault it really was. I was 17 when my little brother died. Nathan, he was 9, peanut allergy. We knew about it. We were careful. One day, my mom had gone to Target, left me in charge for 40 minutes. Nathan asked for a granola bar from the pantry. I checked the label twice. No peanuts listed. I gave it to him. 4 minutes later, he couldn't breathe. His throat was closing. I grabbed the EpiPen from the kitchen drawer and stabbed it into his thigh like we practiced. Then we called 911. I was on the phone with them when my mom got home. She ran inside and found me on the floor with Nathan, doing chest compressions like the operator told me to. Her face went white. The ambulance arrived 6 minutes later. Nathan died at the hospital an hour after that. Contaminated granola bar, factory that also processed peanuts. Recall issued 3 days later. But my mom blamed me anyway. At the funeral, she wouldn't look at me. At home, she stopped talking to me entirely. When people asked what happened, she'd say, ask her. I tried explaining. The bar was labeled safe. I used the EpiPen. I called immediately. She'd just shake her head and walk away. You waited too long to call, she finally said one night. If you'd called right away, he'd still be alive. I didn't call right away. The ambulance took forever. You must have panicked. Wasted time. I hadn't. I know I hadn't. But she wouldn't believe me. I moved out at 18. My mom told the whole family I'd killed Nathan through negligence. My aunt stopped inviting me to holidays. My grandparents sent me a single text. How could you? I tried to defend myself. Sent emails. Made calls. Nobody wanted to hear it. The story was set. I was the careless teenager who let her brother die. I stopped trying after 2 years. Built a new life, new city, new friends who didn't know, but it never stopped hurting. 14 years passed. I got a call from my Aunt Helen. My mom was sick. Stage 4 pancreatic cancer. The family was gathering at my childhood home for one last Thanksgiving together. She wants you there, Helen said. I almost said no. Then I thought about Nathan. He'd want me to go. I drove 6 hours. Walked into a house full of people who believed I'd killed my brother. The room went quiet when I entered. My mom was on the couch. Looked 70 even though she was only 56. She nodded at me. Didn't smile. Just nodded. Dinner was tense. Nobody spoke to me directly. I sat in Nathan's old chair and pushed food around my plate. After dinner, my Uncle Paul mentioned he was digitizing old family videos. Found something interesting, he said. From 2010, he pulled out his laptop. Phone company records. I was organizing Mom's estate documents and found them in a box. My stomach dropped. From November 14th, 2010, the day Nathan died, he opened a PDF. Call logs. Our old landline. Look at this. Paul said. 911 was called at 4:47 p.m. My mom's face tightened. That's too late. It happened around 4:30. Actually, Paul continued. The EpiPen was used at 4:43. Hospital records show that, so calling 4 minutes later makes sense. He scrolled down. But here's the interesting part. The 911 operator's notes say the caller gave the address as 2758 Maple Street. Everyone looked confused. We lived at 2785 Maple Street, I whispered. Paul nodded slowly. Exactly. The ambulance went to the wrong house first. That's why it took so long. They had to reroute. My Aunt Helen grabbed the laptop, read the notes. Her hand went to her mouth. The caller identified herself as Jennifer Lynn Hartley. Paul read, that's not you. He looked at my mother. That's you, Mom. The room went silent. My mother's face drained of all color. No, I wasn't even home yet. Phone records don't lie. Paul said quietly. You called 911 from your cell at 4:47. You just gotten home. You gave the wrong address. I couldn't breathe. My hands were were shaking. I used the EpiPen. I managed. I was doing compressions. I couldn't call. My mom stood up. That's not. I don't. She looked around the room. Everyone was staring. You blamed her for 14 years, Helen said, voice breaking. 14 years. My mom looked at me. Really looked at me. Her eyes filled with tears. She opened her mouth, but nothing came out. I stood up and walked out. Drove home that night. Didn't stay for Thanksgiving. My mom died 6 weeks later. Never apologized, but everyone else did. My mother blamed me for my brother's death for 14 years until the
My girlfriend said modern men have ruined relationships, so I gave her the 1950s work husband she wanted. I had been with Sarah for 2 years when she completely lost it at my best friend's wedding. Modern men are pathetic, she announced at our table, loud enough for everyone to hear. They cry, they talk about their feelings, they expect women to coddle them. My grandfather worked 60 hours a week and never once asked my grandmother how her day was. That's a real man, strong, stoic, a provider who didn't need constant emotional validation. I set down my champagne. Sarah, I literally planned this entire weekend trip so we could attend this wedding together. Exactly my point. You're so desperate for my approval. Back in the day, men just decided things and women followed. They didn't ask permission or need participation trophies for basic tasks. They LED. I looked at her carefully. So you want a traditional 1950s husband? Her eyes lit up like I'd finally understood something obvious. Yes, a real man who acts like a man, not a therapy patient. Okay, traditional it is. She squeezed my hand. See, this is growth. The next morning, I woke up at 5 a.m., got ready for work in silence, and left without saying goodbye. When I came home at 7 p.m., Sarah was in the kitchen. How was your day? She asked. Fine. Where's dinner? She blinked. I just got home an hour ago. I was going to start cooking. In the 1950s, a wife had dinner ready when her husband walked through the door. I'll be reading the paper. I sat in the living room while she cooked, not offering to help. That weekend, her friends invited us to a lake house. Can you help me pack the car? Sarah asked. I looked up from my phone. That's women's work. I'll be in the car when you're done. Her friend Jessica overheard. Excuse me? Sarah wants a traditional relationship. Men didn't pack. Men didn't plan. Men showed up at the lake house. When Sarah tried to discuss our relationship, I cut her off. Men don't talk about feelings. That's feminine behavior. I spent the entire weekend drinking beer with the guys, not once asking Sarah how she was, what she wanted to do, or if she needed anything. When she got upset, I shrugged. My grandfather never asked my grandmother about her emotions. You said that was a real man. Her friends stared at me like I'd grown a second head. The real shift came when her mother visited for Sunday dinner. I sat at the table while Sarah and her mom cooked. Aren't you gonna help? Her mother asked. Men didn't cook in the 1950s, ma'am. I work all week. This is my rest time. After dinner, I stood up and walked to the living room. The dishes? Sarah called out. That's your domain. I provided the money for the food. You handle the cleanup. Her mother's face went crimson. Sarah, what is happening in this house? Sarah wants a traditional 1950s marriage, I explained calmly, where men work and women handle the home. I have a full-time job, Sarah protested. So did a lot of women in the 1950s. They just didn't bother their husbands about it. Her mother didn't speak to me the rest of the night. When Sarah asked me to come to her work event, I shook my head. I don't involve myself in your career. That's your hobby. I'll be watching the game. My hobby. It's my career. A man's career supports the family. A woman's career is supplementary. I don't need to celebrate supplementary. She went alone and had to explain to her boss why her boyfriend didn't show up. The breaking point came 3 weeks in. Sarah came home crying about a fight with her sister. I didn't look up from the TV. Can you please just listen to me? She sobbed. Men don't do emotional labor. You said modern men are too soft because they listen to feelings. Real men don't get involved in women's drama. I need you right now. And my grandfather needed peace and quiet after work. I'm providing financial stability. You want emotional support? Call your mother. That's what women are for. She stared at me with tears streaming down her face. That night, she finally cracked. Okay, I was wrong. Please go back to normal. I miss you talking to me. I miss you caring. I folded the newspaper carefully. A man doesn't change his mind because his woman gets emotional. That's weak. You wanted me to lead. A leader doesn't reverse course every time there are tears. This isn't what I meant. You said modern men ruined relationships by being emotional and needing validation. I'm giving you exactly what you asked for. A traditional man doesn't need his woman's permission to be himself. She had no response. I went back to reading the paper. My girlfriend said modern men have ruined relationships, so I gave her the 1950s work husband she wanted. I had been with Sarah for 2 years.
I haven't been drinking, officer, and if you open up that door, you'll see why I was driving so slow. Please don't write me a ticket. I swear it's safe. We gotta buy a new car. There's no way you guys have enough money for a new car. We're gonna take out a loan. Whoa!
We don't take out loans. Credit is for chumps. What is with your guys' irrational fear of credit? You're not gonna find a lot of decent cars for $830. Just one diamond in the rough. Not a diamond.
I can't believe this is so cheap. We'll take it.
I think Sabrina left too soon.
I promise you're gonna love this.
It's your mother's car.
They gave it to us. They got their dream car.
Isn't it amazing?
Where are we?
In a place where normal people buy cars. Heated seats are great, right?
That kind of luxury cannot come cheap.
Just a few bucks more on a monthly payment.
That's it?
Put down the pen, Jimmy. I just ran your credit.
I never had a credit card. How can my credit be bad?
Can I have your autograph? Okay, great.
Said you owe $6 grand for a hot tub.
But it wasn't our fault, Jimmy. We had no idea how credit cards worked. We thought your record would be clean by the time you were an adult.
Please give Jimmy his credit back. We'll give you anything you want.
I want her.
Mom and Dad did get to use the DeLorean to go back in time and change the past. Now I got my credit back. I haven't been drinking, officer, and if you open up that door, you'll see why I was driving so slow.
However what would you do if a whale song made your entire body vibrate? I have a friend who takes people free diving with whales.
I have to give Don Krieg some respect for his resilience and ambition. His
entire 50-ship fleet was wiped out by a single guy from the Grand Line, and yet he still decided he wanted to go back. We've seen plenty of pirates give up after failures like that and return to paradise, which, in this case, means going back to a normal, quiet life. Eustace Kidd even crucified pirates like this on his way to the Grand Line. Earlier in the series, we also saw Captain Kuro do something similar. He decided he didn't like having a bounty on his head and being constantly chased by the Marines, so he faked his own death and planned to live out the rest of his life peacefully in the East Blue. Now, we've finally seen Don Krieg, Pearl, and Gin again in the new world on Hachinosu, the pirate island. True to his word, Krieg returned to the Grand Line, and that's honestly commendable. He's now working under Blackbeard, which is ironic considering how he was before the time skip. Back then, Krieg only listened to himself, to the point that Gin had to knock him out after he lost and force a retreat. Some might even say Don Krieg had an indomitable spirit. I have to give Don Krieg some respect for his resilience and ambition. His entire 50-ship fleet.
Did Americans build a weapon so unfair it should have been a war crime? While standard knives are survival tools, the punch dagger was forged for a darker purpose. Because of its T-shaped geometry, this blade cannot be disarmed, dropped, or even used for anything other than a slaughter. But the deadliest threat is completely invisible. Although old designs were made for gang members and trench fights, modern versions made of G10 fiberglass can bypass airport metal detectors, making it an invisible shadow that follows you into the most secure rooms on Earth. Yet, its greatest sin is how it handles the aftermath. Built as a simple, solid construction with no moving parts, soaking the blade in diesel washes away every trace of DNA, leaving no evidence behind. Did Americans build a weapon so unfair it should have been a war crime? While standard... I'm Danny Mays. It's your landlord! Hey, how you doing, brother? Check up on everything. Okay.
Have y'all seen a 4'11" dude with a purple beard up in here?
No, not one's in here.
Oh, he got the body like a rat.
Do you think somebody's hiding in my apartment?
No, I mean, why would Gerald be in here anyway?
There's a man named Gerald in my apartment.
Oh, hell no! Why? Did you see him? He about 4'9", got a purple beard. Oh, hey, baby girl, have you seen a 4'5" purple beard?
Baby.
Stefan, what's going on?
There is a 4'3" with a purple beard named Gerald.
Why does he keep getting smaller every time you mention him?
Seriously, he is disturbing. I mean, he'll do anything to get money for rent.
Well, we certainly hope you find him.
Oh, I'm gonna find you, because I'm gonna look low, and then I'm gonna look high. Sorry for the inconvenience, y'all.
It's your landlord!
Isn't Blackbeard as the final boss starting to feel a little underwhelming? The further the story goes, the more ridiculous he seems. He doesn't even have Conqueror's Haki. The devil fruits he gives his crew don't feel threatening at all. Looking at the Blackbeard pirates as a whole, there's no real sense of pressure, but everyone ignores the real reason Blackbeard became a Yonko. That reason is simple. His hand-to-hand combat, strong enough to permanently scar Shanks' face. Before getting any devil fruit powers, Blackbeard already relied on pure physical strength. His weapon back then was a pair of clawed blades. That scar on Shanks' eye was left by Blackbeard alone. Shanks himself admitted he never underestimated Blackbeard in that fight. He fought seriously and still got injured. Ace also confirmed this. Back in the Whitebeard Pirates, Ace believed Blackbeard was more qualified to be a division commander than himself. That means even without devil fruits, Blackbeard was already extremely strong. With pure physical combat, he could compete with top commander. Later, Ace experienced it firsthand. Blackbeard's grip strength was so abnormal it nearly broke Ace's neck. Remember, Ace fought Jinbe for 3 days straight, but against Blackbeard, he lost immediately in a raw power clash. So why does Blackbeard look weak? Because of how he fights. He always takes heavy damage early. Only after losing half his HP does he counterattack. It looks sloppy, almost pathetic. That's why people underestimate him. But there's one more difference. Blackbeard doesn't enjoy fighting. He only fights battles he knows he can win. He doesn't care about pride. Ambushes are fine. Running away is fine. That's why he avoids Akainu and refuses to clash with Aokiji. When facing equals, he'd rather talk than fight, and that's what makes him dangerous. Because despite everything, his win record has never been broken. Isn't Blackbeard as the final boss?
This is the exact moment he realized his childhood was over forever. While everyone was celebrating his birthday, he just felt the heavy weight of growing up. But then someone said this.
Y'all know Gary? Yeah. And I know nobody care about what you say.
He just went assignment, finally understanding that the older you get, the more invisible you become. This is the exact moment you realize.
How is it that even now, some people still can't tell apart Nika, Joy Boy, and Luffy? Luffy can be Nika. He can also be Joy Boy, and Joy Boy can be Nika. But Joy Boy cannot be Luffy. As for Nika, he can only ever be himself. If this still sounds confusing, that's okay. As long as you kept watching One Piece after Roger's death, you'll understand this. Nika comes from ancient giant legends in Elbaf. He wielded a massive sword and an unbreakable shield. His body could stretch freely, like rubber. He was both the god of liberation, who brought people hope, and the god of destruction, who could wipe everything away. Nika would appear whenever the world was about to change. He was a real figure and also a symbol. As long as you make people smile and give them hope, you can embody Nika. The giants passed down holy texts about him, but those records are damaged and incomplete, which is why no one fully understands Nika today. Now let's talk about Joy Boy. Joy Boy was a man born around 900 years ago in an advanced civilization. He brought laughter, freedom, and joy wherever he went. He was the first pirate of the Void Century and the previous awakened user of the Gum Gum Fruit. 800 years ago, he fought alone against 20 kingdoms and lost, but even in defeat, his conqueror's haki has never been surpassed. A fragment of it could split the sky, cancel Imu's power, and knock out Vice Admirals. Joy Boy also once held all three ancient weapons. That alone proves his position in history. Finally, there is Luffy, the second awakened user of the Gum Gum Fruit. After awakening, he became Sun God Nika. He gained absurd powers, but more importantly, he brought laughter and freedom back to the world. The drums of liberation began to beat again. Zunisha heard them. Emeth awakened. That's why Luffy is Nika and can inherit the will of Joy Boy. How is it that even now, some...
This is the worst product I ever tried.
My boss canceled free coffee to save $100. I started selling coffee to my colleagues from my office. My cheap boss Hector removed the office coffee machine to save $100 a month. He replaced it with a coin-operated vending machine. The coffee tasted like battery acid mixed with regret. Nobody used it. Everyone was miserable. Hector didn't see a problem. He saw a cost reduction. He didn't know he had just created a monopoly opportunity for me. The next Monday, I brought my French press to work. Premium beans from a local roaster. I made myself a cup at my desk. The smell spread across the entire floor. My zombie colleagues started drifting over, eyes wide, nostrils flaring. Is that real coffee? Can I have some? I'll pay you for a cup. That last sentence changed everything. I started charging $2 per cup, just enough to cover my bean costs. I made $20 the first day. Hector noticed. He laughed it off. Cute little side hustle. Won't last. By Wednesday, I was making $50 a day. By Friday, I had upgraded my equipment. I switched to cold brew. No electricity required. No heating elements. Just coffee grounds steeping in cold water for 24 hours. I brought it in thermal kegs. This was important because Hector couldn't cite any safety hazards. No fire risk. No electrical violations. Just a guy with a beverage container. Demand exploded. The cold brew was smooth, rich, infinitely better than the vending machine poison. I was making $200 a day. Hector was furious. His vending machine commission had dropped to zero. Nobody was using it. Everyone was coming to my desk. He called me into his office. You can't run a personal business on company property. It's against policy. I smiled. It's not a business, Hector. It's a donation-based coffee appreciation club. Members contribute voluntarily. I provide refreshments. There's no profit motive. I handed him a printout of the employee handbook. Section 12 prohibits commercial enterprises. A club based on voluntary donations isn't commercial. It's social. He stared at the handbook, then at me. This is ridiculous. This is supply and demand. You created the demand when you removed the coffee machine. I'm just meeting it. He couldn't touch me. The loophole was airtight. The coffee club continued. Then came the day everything changed. Mr. Caldwell arrived for $1 million contract negotiation. He was the biggest potential client of the quarter. Hector had been preparing for this meeting for months. Everything had to be perfect, except the air conditioning broke that morning. The conference room was 90 degrees. Caldwell was sweating through his suit. He was irritable, uncomfortable, ready to walk out. Hector offered him coffee from the vending machine. Caldwell took one sip and spit it back into the cup. What is this garbage? I need real coffee or I'm leaving. I don't negotiate when I'm this uncomfortable. Hector panicked. He looked around the office. Then he smelled it. My cold brew wafting through the vents. He ran to my desk. I need coffee now for the Caldwell meeting. I leaned back in my chair. Sorry, Hector. The cold brew is for club members only. This is an emergency. I understand, but I can cater the meeting if you'd like. Corporate rate. His eye twitched. How much? $200 for a full pitcher service. Cash. That's extortion. That's market pricing. The vending machine is free if you prefer. He looked at the conference room. Caldwell was checking his watch. Hector pulled out his wallet. He counted out $200 in 20s. He slammed them on my desk. Fine. I poured the cold brew into a professional pitcher. I added ice. I walked into that conference room like I owned the place. Compliments of the house, Mr. Caldwell. Caldwell took a sip. His face relaxed. Now this is coffee. Where did you you get this? Hector jumped in. We have a premium beverage program, very exclusive. Caldwell finished the entire glass. I like companies that pay attention to details. Let's talk numbers. He signed the contract an hour later. $1 million deal, saved by cold brew. The next week, Hector called me into his office again, but this time, his tone was different. Legal says we need to formalize your slub. He slid a paper across the desk. An official vendor contract. The company would pay me a monthly fee to provide coffee services for client meetings and executive functions. I read the terms. $3,000 a month plus supplies. I signed it immediately. I now make more selling bean water than I do writing code. My boss canceled free coffee to save $100. I started selling coffee to my colleagues from my office. My chief boss, Hector, removed the office coffee machine to save $100 a month. He replaced
Times when actors' improvs made the scenes better. In The Dark Knight, when the Joker walks out of the hospital, the explosion behind him doesn't go off right away. This delay wasn't part of the script, so Heath Ledger was genuinely confused and did this. In Deadpool 2, Wade Wilson is locked in prison and forced to wear a collar that stops his powers. Even then, he still makes a funny joke.
With this collar on, my superpower is just unbridled cancer. Me a bow and arrow, basically Hawkeye.
That Hawkeye joke was totally made up by Ryan Reynolds. In Fast and Furious 6, Dwayne Johnson came up with one of the best comebacks in movie history. It was so unexpected that Ludacris couldn't even stay in character.
Hey, Mia, better hide your baby or... I'm just playing. You better hide that big-ass forehead. It's just joking.
Times when actors' improvs made the scenes better. In The Dark Knight,
You would never expect this from One Piece. Aside from constantly doing Sanji dirty, the anime has also made seriously questionable changes to the story itself. Many fans say the power scaling collapsed, but the real problem is the anime. Here are 5 scenes that Oda never drew. They were all anime original additions, yet many fans mistook them for canon. Chances are at least one of these fooled you too. First, Zoro injuring Luffy. Some people believe Luffy's X-shaped chest scar was caused by Zoro. That scene was completely anime original. Zoro has never once attacked his captain. The scar was caused by Akainu at Marineford. Oda already confirmed this in the SBS second. Jinbe versus Mihawk. Mihawk is Yonko level, but Jinbe should not be one-shot fodder. He's fought top commanders before. The anime exaggerated the gap without understanding the power system. Third, Whitebeard crushing Akainu. Iconic, satisfying, but misleading. In the manga, Whitebeard suffered more. Half his head was blown off. Akainu kept fighting like a war demon. The anime turned a brutal exchange into one-sided domination. Fourth, Luffy losing to Batman. This one is absurd. Post-Katakuri Luffy should never lose to a Beast Pirate's grunt. Yet the anime shows him getting knocked away. The 5th Emperor humiliated by Batman? Even Oda would laugh. 5th, Van Augur one-shotting Cracker. Gear 3rd couldn't break Cracker's biscuits, yet one bullet does. Then later, Gene Bart takes those bullets. Beppo blocks them with a rock. So why does an 800 million bounty pirate shatter instantly? Because the anime ignored consistency. Oda draws results. The anime invents chaos. And that's why the power scaling feels broken. You would never expect...
My rich parents forced me to marry a poor girl to teach me a lesson about being entitled, but I ended up learning a lesson that no one saw coming. I was 24, spending too much of their money on cars and clubs and trips I barely remembered. Dad sat me down in his office, that big wooden desk between us like a courtroom. Your mother and I have made a decision. You're getting married. I laughed. To who? A girl from the village where your grandmother grew up. Her name is June. Her family has nothing. You'll live on her income for 1 year. No trust fund access, no credit cards, no bailouts. If you survive, you get your inheritance. If you quit, you're cut off forever. This is all to teach you a lesson about spending money on useless garbage. You need to learn the value of money and learn what it actually means to work hard. Mom stood in the doorway, arms crossed. Maybe living with someone who actually works for a living will fix whatever's broken in you. Apparently, they'd already arranged everything. June's family needed money for medical bills. My parents offered to pay them off completely if June agreed to marry me for 1 year. A business deal disguised as a lesson. I shrugged my shoulders because I figured it was a win-win situation for both of us. I just wanted to get it over with. I met June 3 days before the wedding. She was sitting on the porch of a house smaller than our guest bathroom. Brown hair, tired eyes, clothes that had been washed too many times because she couldn't afford new ones. She didn't smile when she saw me. I know what you're thinking, she said before I could speak. I'm probably just a poor girl marrying a rich boy for money. She laughed before continuing. And, well, you're right. I need the money because my mother needs surgery. I'd marry a brick wall if it meant she'd live. I respected the honesty. Most people would have pretended. We got married at a courthouse. No guests, no photos, just signatures and silence. Then we drove to her apartment. 400 square feet. One window, a mattress on the floor. My parents had someone watching to make sure I didn't cheat. I couldn't access a single dollar of family money. June worked at a bakery. She left at 4 a.m. and came home smelling like flour and sweat. Her paycheck was $800 a month. Rent was paid by my parents. Utilities were $150. That left us $650 for everything else. The first week, I was miserable. The second week, I was angry. The third week, something shifted because I started to realize something. No matter what happened, June never complained. She woke up before dawn, worked 8 hours on her feet, then came home and cooked dinner on a stove with only 2 working burners. One time I was so bored that I offered to help, and she actually let me. She didn't mock me when I burned the rice. She just showed me how to do it right and moved on. One night we were sitting across the table in silence for the millionth time in a row, but this time I finally broke it. You're clearly not happy to be here, so why are you so nice to me? I said. Neither are you, she shrugged, but being cruel about it won't make the year go faster. By month 3, I started walking her to work. By month 4, I did the unthinkable. I got a job at a warehouse warehouse loading boxes. $14 an hour. My hands blistered, my back screamed. But when I handed June my first paycheck, something in her eyes changed. She looked at me like I was a real person for the first time. By month 6, I realized I wasn't counting down the days anymore. I was looking forward to coming home. We'd sit on that mattress and talk for hours about nothing and everything. She told me about her father who died when she was 12. I told her about my brother who overdosed when I was 16. We traded wounds like secrets. Month 9, I kissed her. She kissed me back. Month 11, my father called. One more month and this is over. Your accounts will be restored. We've already filed the annulment paperwork. Just sign when you're ready. I looked at June sleeping next to me, her hair messy across the pillow, her hand resting on my chest. I hung up without answering. The year ended on a Tuesday. My parents threw a welcome home party. Champagne, caviar, everyone they knew. They expected me to walk in alone, broken, humbled, ready to resume my old life. I showed up with June. We're not signing the annulment, I told them in front of everyone. She's my wife. I love her. My mother's face twisted. This wasn't the plan. You were supposed to learn that money matters, that you need us. I learned the opposite, I said. I learned that everything you gave me was worthless. The cars, the trips, the cards with no limits. None of it made me happy. She did. My father stepped forward. If you stay married to her, you lose everything. The inheritance, the company shares, all of it. Then I lose it. June squeezed my hand. We walked out together. My rich parents forced me to marry a poor girl to teach me a lesson. Christmas is canceled for you, my dad announced at the family gathering, all because I refused to co-sign a $50,000 loan for my sister's boutique. I didn't argue, just nodded, took a deep breath, and left the room. But I could feel everyone's eyes on me, judging me like I was the bad guy. My father's plan to isolate me was already in motion. The first real blow came 2 days later. My landlord Pete called, a no-nonsense guy who rarely bothered me unless something was seriously wrong. Hey, Ethan, he said, voice tense. I just got a call from someone claiming to be your dad. Said he was worried about you, that you might be in financial trouble. Wanted to confirm you were still paying rent on time. I gripped the edge of my desk, anger flaring. What did you tell him? Pete hesitated. I just said you've always been solid, never missed a payment, but he kept pushing, asking if you'd been acting weird lately. It was strange. I thanked Pete, but as I hung up, I realized this was worse than I thought. My father wasn't just undermining me with family. He was trying to destabilize my entire life. A few hours later, my boss called. Short, professional, but the undertone was unmistakable. Ethan, we got a strange call from someone claiming to be a concerned family member. Wanted to give you a heads up. You alright? I felt the ground shift beneath me. My father was trying to make me look unstable, to cut me off from my support network completely. It was methodical and calculated, but two can play at that game. That night, I sat down at my kitchen table with bank statements, contracts, and printouts. I opened my laptop and drafted a detailed letter to my family. Not an angry rant, but clear facts about what had really happened. I laid out everything. The failed businesses, the manipulation, the pattern of using family as ATMs. I included proof of Chloe's previous bankruptcies and records showing I'd loaned her $15,000 that was never repaid. Then I sent copies to my aunts, uncles, and cousins, the people my father would eventually reach. I included screenshots of his interference attempts and explained why I'd taken these steps. When I hit send, I felt relief and fear. I just declared war. The next morning, my phone absolutely exploded. Messages from family members most furious at my father. My Aunt Linda called, voice shaking. I had no idea he'd been doing this for years. I'm so sorry, Ethan. My Uncle Mike texted about losing $30,000 to one of Chloe's previous ventures. My father sent one text. You made a mistake. Don't make it worse. I smiled faintly. He was rattled. For a few days, it was quiet. Too quiet. Then one morning, my bank account was frozen. No warning. Just an error message on my app. I called the bank immediately. After a long wait, they explained. A family member reported potential fraud. We had to freeze it for security. I knew exactly who called. I spent 6 hours untangling the mess, sending verification documents. By day's end, the account was unfrozen. But this made one thing clear. My father was escalating. That's when I remembered something. Chloe had used our father's property as collateral for her boutique lease. Something he'd probably never noticed in his rush to fund her dream. I called an old friend in commercial real estate. By week's end, I'd quietly purchased the lease on her flagship store space. It wasn't cheap, but I had enough saved. Legally, I now controlled the location of her precious boutique. 2 days later, I walked past the shop. Floor-to-ceiling windows, overpriced dresses, neon sign with her name in loopy script. Chloe was inside, pacing behind the counter, phone pressed to her ear, eyes wide with panic. I watched from across the street as she gestured wildly, voice muffled through the glass. She was learning the hard way that Instagram followers meant nothing without a secure location to actually sell anything. That night, my phone buzzed. Chloe's message was short and angry. What the hell did you do? Fix this, Ethan! I leaned back in my chair and let out a slow, deeply satisfied breath. For the first time in a long time, I had the upper hand, but I knew this wasn't over. My father was stubborn and calculating, and I could feel the storm gathering on the horizon. The next morning, an email arrived from the family's legal team. Carefully worded, coldly professional. I was being formally removed as a beneficiary of the family trust. My father had cut me out completely, legally severing any remaining financial ties. I read it twice, then picked up the phone and called my own lawyer. Turns out, filing a false fraud report with a bank is actually illegal. Criminal charges illegal, and my sister's boutique, without that lease, her entire business plan collapsed overnight. My lawyer filed a police report about the fraudulent bank claim. Within days, my father received a letter from the authorities requesting an interview. Chloe's boutique closed 2 weeks later. The Instagram posts stopped. The loopy neon sign came down. Christmas is canceled for you, my dad announced at the family gathering, all because I refused to co-sign a $50,000 loan for my sister's boutique. I didn't argue, just nodded, took a deep breath, and left the room. But I could feel everyone's eyes on me, judging me like I was the...
I'm thirsty. Let's drink. Goofy juice is mine, but you can have one. Oh, thanks, handsome. Is this beer for anybody?
Prudence, you're 16. You know, Prudence, the Goofy Juice has vitamin C and calcium. It's much better than beer for a growing body. Not that your body needs to grow. I'm done.
No, Prudence, I'm the third fastest runner in my class.
Cool. Spring break's over. Back to work.
Later, Stag. Boy, she smells good.
Yeah, like camel filters and pheromones. I'm gonna do some grocery shopping for your brother. I'll be back in a little while.
What about Prudence?
She'll be fine. Just keep her out of the liquor cabinet. Don't do anything stupid or you'll go to jail.
Why would you go to jail?
Well, that's kind of complicated.
And why was Uncle Charlie kissing Rose?
Well, that was the...
And what are pheromones?
Oh, that one I know, and it's pronounced
Whoa. Never mind. I'm thirsty. Let's drink.
Top 3 best homes to start in Minecraft. Number 1. Number 2. Number 3. Subscribe, please. Top 3 best homes to start in Minecraft. Number 1. Number 2. Number 3. Subscribe, please.
Okay, you get the kiss?
Is it just me, or is it weird disliking someone everyone loves? You know the type, on the surface they seem genuine, nice, kind, the type where the room gets louder when they walk in.
Jaden's here.
Constantly dapping everyone up, laughing, but as soon as he walks to dap me up, in the back of my head I'm thinking,
Something's off, but I just can't prove it yet.
no proof, no evidence, just a gut feeling. Meanwhile, everyone else is like,
He's an angel.
while I'm fighting the urge to smile back, and if you say anything, you're the hater. Yo, something's off about this new Jaden kid.
Bro, are you jealous or something? Why you hate him?
And the funny thing is, 99% of the time, you'll end up being right. Let me tell you, the day they found out I wasn't crazy at all. We had plans, 6 p.m. Saturday, Dave and Buster's. I didn't even know Jaden was invited until after I got there. We start playing games, air hockey, Pac-Man, Connect 4. Everything's normal, too normal. Then a little kid walks up like, damn, I left 500 tickets here. Did you see where they went? Jaden smiles too fast.
Nah,
Kids' parents come over, same question. Jaden doubles down.
nah, I was over there.
The parents look at each other. They decided, let's get the manager involved. Now, we have no clue if he did or didn't. The manager shows up and says,
All right, we're gonna bring everyone to the back.
we're in the back room, fluorescent lights, no music, no games, just quiet. The manager pulls up the footage, fast forward, pause, and there he is. Jaden at the machine, looking around, stuffing 500 tickets in his pockets. The room goes dead silent. The manager looks at Jaden. The parents look at Jaden. We all look at Jaden. Jaden looks at the screen and goes,
That ain't me. Nigga, they caught you in 4K.
not nervous, not joking, dead serious. The manager rewinds it, plays it again. Jaden watches it and nods.
That ain't me. AI getting crazy.
He never stepped foot in there again. Immediate ban. And me? I didn't say I told y'all so. I just stood there thinking, yeah, I knew. Is it just me, or is it weird disliking someone everyone loves? You know the type, on the surface they seem genuine, nice, kind, the type where the room gets louder when they walk in.
Jaden's here.
Constantly dapping.
Let's see what Tay's up to. Of course he's minding. This guy. Oh,
Alexa, shut up. Can I hit him? Ooh. Hit her. That's it.
X-rays, by the way. His tummy looks pretty legit.
Zoro invented the most illegal sword style in history. While handcuffed to Usopp, Zoro had to figure out how to fight two CP9 assassins. Usopp tried to be smart and trick the enemies into fighting each other, but Zoro ruined the plan immediately.
I get it. You're trying to get them to stop paying attention to us and start fighting each other. That just occurred to you? Then why are you sharing that information with them?
Zoro realized that stealth wasn't working, so he suggested a new plan.
These cups are a real problem, but I've thought of a way we can get them off of us.
Really?
Whoever loses has to chop off his own hand.
Usopp obviously said no, so Zoro came up with Plan C. Since he couldn't use his third sword, he decided to turn his best friend into a weapon.
All right, Sniper King, just hold that posture. You are now a sword. Get me a lawyer! There's no way I am not gonna sue your ass off for that!
Zoro invented the most...
What happened when your parents found out you were rich? My parents believed that inheritance money destroyed young people. After my grandmother left me $50,000 when I was 15, they put it in a trust I couldn't touch until 30. Every teenager who gets early money becomes a burnout. Mom would preach. They buy cars, party, drop out. We're protecting you from yourself. They made me sign papers, locked everything away, made me live like the money didn't exist. At 17, I worked at Subway for minimum wage while 50 grand sat in an account I couldn't touch. My friends thought I was crazy. Just petition the court, they'd say. But fighting my parents meant lawyers, family drama, maybe losing the money entirely in legal fees. That's when I discovered dropshipping. Started with $50 for my Subway check, buying phone cases from China, reselling them online. First month, I made $200. Second month, $800. By senior year of high school, I was clearing $5,000 monthly while my parents thought I was studying in my room. I got creative with hiding it. Opened accounts at 3 different banks using my work address. Had packages delivered to my friend Sarah's house. Kept cash in tampon boxes, inside old textbooks, behind picture frames. My room looked like a normal teenager's, but it held $30,000 in various hiding spots. Why do you need new shoes? Mom would ask. Those still have soles. The Subway job doesn't pay enough for extras, Dad would add. Budget better. Meanwhile, I had enough to buy a car cash, but I kept taking the bus, kept wearing thrift store clothes, kept up the act. Everything changed the week before graduation. I came home early from school with a headache. Mom's car was in the driveway, but Dad's was gone. Normal for 2 p.m. But when I walked in, Mom was at the kitchen table with papers everywhere, crying. Mom, she tried to hide the papers, but I saw the header. Second notice. Medical debt collection. It's nothing, she said, shoving them in a drawer. That night, I waited until they were asleep and went through that drawer. $186,000 in medical debt from Dad's cancer treatment 2 years ago. They'd been paying minimums, juggling credit cards, drowning in interest. The papers showed they'd already taken a second mortgage, already emptied their retirement. The house was next. And there, at the bottom, was a legal document. They petitioned the court to access my grandmother's trust early for education expenses, it said. But the real reason was clear. They were desperate. The next morning at breakfast, they acted normal. Dad talked about my college plans. Mom complained about grocery prices, both pretending we weren't months from bankruptcy. I need to tell you something, I said. They exchanged glances, probably thinking I was pregnant or dropping out. I went to my room and came back with everything. Bundles of cash from every hiding spot, bank statements, business records. All of it spread across the same table where Mom had cried yesterday. What is this? Dad's voice was barely a whisper. $73,000, I said. From my business, the one I've been running for 2 years while you thought I was studying. Mom picked up a bank statement with shaking hands. How? You work at Subway. I also run 3 online stores. I've incorporated. I pay taxes. I have an accountant. The silence stretched forever. We forbid you from working online, Dad finally said. But his voice had no conviction. You forbid me from touching money that was mine, I replied, while you went into debt paying for medical bills, while you protected me from becoming a burnout. You were burning out trying to stay afloat. Mom started crying again. We didn't want you to know. Parents are supposed to provide. I can pay it, I interrupted. The medical debt. I can pay it today. They stared at the money on the table. Their 18-year-old daughter had been secretly rich while they were secretly drowning, all because everyone was trying to protect everyone else. There's more, I said, pulling out my laptop. The business is worth about $400,000 if I sold it today. I had an offer last month. Dad put his head in his hands. We were so worried about money corrupting you. But you were. You were building something while we were falling apart. We paid off the medical debt that week. My parents helped me get a business license in my actual name. Mom does my bookkeeping now. Dad handles shipping. They never touched Grandma's trust money. It's still sitting there, waiting until I'm 30. By then, with the way the business is growing, I won't need it. What happened when your parents found out?
However you both.
Christian, oh my God, how the fuck is he not dead? He said he's not letting go until he gets his wish. We just might have to grant it for him. That is not an option. Okay, we can't do that. Where are we at with my wish? No one has ever asked to cast some chicks for their wish before, Jimmy. I don't know how to navigate this. I'm not leaving this earth till I crack something, Doc. I don't care if it's a man, woman, dog, otter. I'm leaving here with something. Oh, that dude, he is fucking sick. And I'm not just talking about with the super cancer. He is sick. Listen, Jimmy, what if we just got you John Cena? Oh, wow, yeah, sure. Wait, but seriously? Okay, yeah, I'll call him right away. We'll get him down. And let John know when he comes, I'm going to be seeing the side of that ass. Oh, that's a different type of attitude adjustment, Jimmy. He's retired. He don't do that. What about Spider-Man? You like Tom Holland? We can get him down here. Okay, yeah, sure, but let him know we filming a different type of movie. Spider-Man far from pulling out. But what if instead of a hero, we get you a villain? Since you know sound like one, the Green Goblin. I want the Blue Goblin. That's who I want. Oh, geez. Okay, how about this? I'll call up